Yes, yes, yes. What is up? What is up? MCR family. Another weekly edition of the show live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Should be a fun one. I'm live also at the House of Dreams studio in downtown LA. If you have any recording needs, hit me up on social media. Right there. I'm also joined by the one and only Gary in Dallas. And we have a lot to discuss. Things like Mayweather pay-per-view numbers are in. They weren't as high as we predicted. It happens. It's rare. Still a high number, but not as high as we predicted. Plus a lot of fights to talk about this weekend and coming up. Gary, how are you, man?
I'm good. It's good to be back. We got one fight canceled, but that was the fight I was least interested in. George Kambosos moves the needle for you.
I'll put it this way. Lopez Kambosos is a much better matchup than probably all the main events of the weekend.
We'll get into it.
What?
Yeah,
what are you going to say?
I think Charlo is the best fight of the weekend. Well, the best main event.
Kambosos is a legit top 10 lightweight.
I mean,
what?
Is he though?
Yes.
He got the decision, and maybe he deserved it. I was the one that say that Selby was wrong, but I mean, it wasn't a good performance. Most people thought he lost. I'm not saying it was a robbery. It was very reasonable to score the fight for him. George Kambosos, though, I'm saying Montiel would do better against top 10 competition at 160 than Kambosos would. You kind of like Kambosos. You've always been a Kambosos supporter, haven't you?
Don't put that on me. He's not one of my guys like you with the Texas guys. No, but he's a legit top 10 lightweight.
You have to go through the names, but that doesn't seem right. Does he beat Gamboa?
Does he? Yes, he beats Gamboa. Dude, Haney with no power just jabbed him for fucking 12 rounds. Kambosos can jab him for 12 rounds.
Does he beat Linares?
Yes.
I don't think he beats any of these guys.
Like, I think him and Haney is a tough fight. Like, I think him and Haney is an even fight.
Kambosos has a better win, doesn't he? He's got a good win on it. Not.
Let me pull it up right now.
Yeah.
George Kambosos.
I'm spelling that right.
It's just O's.
Yeah.
Except for the first day, I should say. Lee Selby, Mickey Bay.
Mickey Bay is his best win. The Selby's the best name, but did he really? Again, I'm not saying. A lot of people think Selby got robbed. I'm not one of those people. It was a very close fight where Selby did nothing but made Kambosos miss a lot. I don't know if you give him rounds for that, right? Like, it wasn't that was not a great fight. It was a very bad fight, actually. And I'm fine with Kambosos getting that decision, although I think I scored it for Selby. That's not a great performance. Like, that's not a great win. Like, and then Mickey Bay is the other high quality.
Okay. Well, you're comparing it to Montiel. Who's Montiel's win?
James Kirkland and a draw against I can't my brain work.
I'll pull it up. Don't worry. Who we got? Oh, Centeno.
Yeah. So his best win is James Kirkland by name, and his best performance is a draw against Centeno.
Yeah, but he got knocked out in 2 rounds by Jaime Munguia.
He was like 21 years old. Like, do you remember who Canelo had a draw with early in his career? Do you remember who knocked out Donaire early in his career? Like, he was like 21 when that happened.
It wasn't early in his career. This is
like 2015, isn't it?
No, it's 2017, first off.
This is 4 years ago. What's he, 27 now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That was his 24th fight. No, sorry. He doesn't get a pass. Sorry. You're over 20 fights? That's not early in your career.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but he fought like every week, right? Like, I mean, who is he fighting? I mean, he's got the professional fights. I get it. But his 24 professional fights aren't like Usyk's 20 professional fights or Lomachenko's or, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's fighting a different level of guy. Even though he's had all those fights, and you're right, he is experienced. He's not a rookie. But, like, they fought every week. Like, and he wasn't fighting.
He got knocked out in 2 rounds by Munguia.
Okay.
That guy's not even the same. He wasn't even the same weight class for a long time. Like, I mean, what are we talking about here? Like, this is like, it's not comparable. Like, James Kirkland in 2020 is not comparable to Lee Selby in 2020 or 2019, whatever that fight was. Is it?
No, the best name is Kirkland. The best performance was Centeno. Right? I'm saying Kirkland. And do you know who Eddie Ortiz is? He's fought on some PBC cards.
Yeah.
He's from San Antonio. He's been sparring with Kirkland for years. And he said, he's sparring with him for this camp. He said he was beating him up. He said he wasn't clearly the same. Like, he didn't know what happened to him after that layoff, but he knew that wasn't going to go well. Because, Kirkland was a guy that was beating him up for years. And all of a sudden, I'm beating him up. Uh-oh. Kirkland's not the best win. I guess it is his best win because his best win is actually a draw. But Centeno was the best performance. I'm basing that he can be competitive in this fight off of a draw against Centeno and the power that he displayed against Kirkland. Because, like, whatever you say, not Kirkland, right? You still have to have power to do that. Although a Japanese guy did a quick name I can't remember without any power. So maybe you don't. Who's the Japanese guy that knocked out Kirkland when Kirkland was like a highly touted prospect? This is years ago, like 2010 probably.
Ashida,
yeah. That guy didn't have any power. He knocked her out of first round.
Yeah, 6 losses too. It was coming off a loss into that fight.
They didn't even want to sanction that fight. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, all of Kirkland's knockouts have been via knockout. All his losses have been via knockout. It's like knocking out Kirkland means like what exactly? Because everyone knocks him out.
He's knocking out Khan.
Exactly. I'll put it this way. People in the chat, let us know. If Lopez Kambosos was actually going on this weekend, would that be the best main event, or would it be Charlo-Montiel? And that's just ridiculous.
I don't think that's ridiculous. I think he's not as bad as you think he is.
I'll put it this way. None of them are the best fight of the weekend, though.
Agreed.
The best fight of the weekend is Adam Lopez versus Isaac Dogbe.
What about
that's a good fight.
The Mikel Mayer fight?
No, come on.
She's gonna lose.
This is Dogbe's like last fucking chance.
Dogbe is always in a fun fight, so yes, it'll be. And Adam Lopez is like sneaky good. Who are you picking? What do you want to start with?
First off, thank you, Jay, for I'm assuming backing up my point.
I don't like you guys know Montiel. He's a good fighter. I'm not saying he's a world champion. I'm not saying he's going to stop Canelo. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying he's a pretty good fighter. Like, he's fought twice. I mean,
no comment.
So when Charlo wins the decision, you guys are going to say he couldn't knock out a bum, and it's like he's not a bum though. He's a good fighter. I'm not. If you fought Hugo Centeno, would you say that's the worst fight?
He has already fought Hugo Centeno, and we didn't like that fight.
I mean, but at that time, it was his best. It still is his best name at 160. No, it's not. He's got Derevchenko now.
Yes.
Okay. Like, it's not the best fight, but it's better than George Kambosos.
No, it's not. It's not. Especially coming from your best win at 160. Back and fight another Hugo Centeno type. Because that's what it is.
Yeah, but times to a draw. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, come on. Like, we don't want to see that anymore from Charlo.
So you're going to disagree with the second half, but you agree with the first. Who's better, Tio or Jamal?
Probably right now, Teofimo Lopez.
Right. And you're going to disagree with the second half. Who's better, Montiel or Kambosos? I would say Montiel. So the gap in between those two guys is smaller than the gap between Teofimo Lopez and George freaking Kambosos. Gary. I would say Montiel, if nothing else, has a puncher's chance. Kambosos has no chance.
You know what's sad, Gary? Is like we just had like a political debate show, like yesterday or 2 days ago, and I feel like I'm more heated right now. that was at any point in that show. I feel like this is an affront to like common sense here and like logic, Gary. Like, there's no way anyone other than you is probably out there saying, you know what, Charlo-Montiel, that would have been the best main event this weekend instead of Teofimo Lopez coming off of a career-defining win, a legacy-defining win against Lomachenko.
Taking a mandatory against
taking a mandatory against a top 10 opponent and George Kambosos off of the big money fight on Triller. Come on, man. No, stop. Another barely top 15 guy, if that. Like, we're tired of that. Who cares about this?
I'd say they're both fighting 10 to 15 guys. I have to go through the names at lightweight. Kambosos could be in the top 10, but he's not definitely in the top 10. Like, I'd have to go through those names.
Gary, I got time today, Gary.
I got all day.
You didn't have all day last time, Gary. So I'll make sure. Oh, let's go to lightweight. Okay. All right, I'll pull share screen over here so everyone can see it with us. Okay.
Oh, we're putting Gervonta Davis in there. He's probably not in the top 10. I mean, I guess Davis is a lightweight. Do you want to count Davis? I'll let you take Davis out if you want to, because he doesn't really fight any particular.
Well, Kambosos is already in the top 10 right here.
According to Boxer, who got Jeff Horn at number 1 still?
Gary, it doesn't matter. Who below him?
Linares.
Okay, put Linares above him. He's at 10. And you want to take Davis out, so then now he's at 9 still. Okay, who?
Hector Tanahara.
Stop.
Michael Rivera.
Neither of those guys have a win.
Okay, between
neither of those guys have a win.
He's got better wins.
Who?
Tanahara.
Who?
Gutierrez.
Get the fuck out of here, Gary.
Gutierrez is a world champion. What current world champion has he been?
We're not including WBA regular belts here.
Not the regular belt, though. Wait, hang on. It's not the regular belt. It's the real belt. It's the real belt that they made the regular belt because Tank Davis wanted to fight at 135.
We're not including regular belts here, Gary.
It's not. I hate it when you do. That's the real one. I hate this.
Regular belts
That's
here,
the one with the lineage.
Dude, if we open that up, Gary, if we open up that fucking dam, okay, then people can say like Triple G is the longest reigning like champion in like boxing history. We can't do that.
They made that the regular belt because Tank Davis wanted to fight. Who did he fight at 135? The featherweight. There was 2 featherweights fighting for a 135-pound belt. It was Seha. Like, okay, this will be for the super because they're making the Mario Barrios fight for the Super WBA now. Did you know that?
I didn't hear you. Sorry.
They're making the Mario Barrios Tank Davis fight for the Super WBA.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the WBA, like so that would mean that
are they stripping Josh Taylor?
No, I guess it's just gonna have 2 super champions.
That I don't understand.
It'll be for the super duper super lightweight champion if they fight each other.
Gary, stop. Please tell me what's doing.
I'm not joking.
You gotta send me the link to that, Gary. I need to know.
I think I can find it. Yeah.
Okay, Jay's right. Gary's trying to convince us or himself.
There's lineage. Gutierrez's belt. There's no lineage. Like it was Jezreel Krause's belt, right? That lost to Machado, right? Machado lost to what was the name of the guy that Golden Boy dropped right after he lost to Alvarado? What was his name?
There's a fucking ad here right in the way, and I can't click on Tanahara's name. It's pissing me off. God damn you, BoxRec. God damn you.
Michel Rivera is absolutely better than George Kambosos.
But who has he beat? Who has he beat? I'm looking. Ladarius Miller's his best friend.
Yeah, and
dude, he beat another prospect.
Ladarius Miller beat Jamel Herring. Like he's a contender.
Okay, be another contender.
And then he fought above his left. I don't want to call him
Lee Selby was a legit champion. He was the IBF champion.
Not at that weight class that he fought him at.
So Gutierrez is Gutierrez the WBA super champion or regular champion at 135? No, at 130.
130. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, you can't pull that card on me. No, get out of here, Gary.
Tanahara beat him at 130. Then Tanahara moved it to 135 after that.
Regardless, Lee Selby's a tall motherfucker, so you know it counts.
He's tall. Campos is just tall too, right, for that size, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. They're both very tall. Look, okay. I'm glad that everyone seems to be agreeing with me in the chat. At least Jay is. He's the only one that's really vocalizing his opinion. But also just kind of just talking about shit.
Everyone via one comment in the chat.
Like Team Batman Boxing. I want to know your opinion about this. Charlo-Montiel or Lopez Kambosos. Which would have been the better main event this weekend? Okay. Also, Melikuziev versus Rosado this weekend is going to be
a real good fight.
That is a good fight.
A real good fight.
Yeah. I like Adam Lopez Dogpad more, I'll be honest. I don't know why.
The Golden Boy card outside of the main event's a decent little card.
Well, the main event's not that bad either. The main event's
it's just not a main event caliber. I mean, it's Magia, and Magia has some appeal. But
Munguia should be a co-main to Canelo.
Exactly.
But the reality is that he can't do that anymore because Golden Boy and Canelo don't work together.
Right, and he was trying to get Munguia to look sensational once to make that Canelo fight. It just didn't happen in a timely fashion.
Well, I mean, this is a mandatory fight for Triple G, right?
That's some.
Zamorata is was or is a mandatory for Triple G, isn't he?
He was, and he got destroyed.
Yeah,
he took a heck of a beating. Kudos to him. He was knocked out how many times? Like 5 times or some crap like that.
So I'm assuming this will be in theory a title eliminator for Triple G within the DAZN umbrella.
Yeah,
right? And they're hoping that Munguia washes Zamorata because then it's a common opponent with Triple G, and then they can match them up, and hopefully Munguia in their mind beats Triple G and becomes a little Mexican star, and then they can do a fight with Canelo, right? Like that's like the plan.
Could you imagine him fighting Canelo?
I mean,
he's gonna have to fight the whole fight on the inside with Canelo. That's gonna go well for him. Like best case scenario is he doesn't get on the inside. Canelo uses the ring out, boxes him, and then stops him in the middle rounds. Worst case scenario is they go and fight on the inside and go with the whole fight. He gets stopped in 3 rounds. Rocky Fielding. Like that's the best. I don't know which one's best and which one's worse. That is a
Gary.
That is so bad.
Anyways, I'll be honest. I kind of skipped the fights this last weekend. I was really busy, and then I saw everyone talking about it on social media and everyone hating on it. So I never went back and watched the Shakur Stevenson fight.
Watch it if you. I mean, look, watch 4 rounds and then just times out by 3, and that's the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Shakur Stevenson apologized for his performance. I don't know what he apologized for. It was a clinic. This is how he fights. I always say that you can't beat everyone if you can only fight one way. And I don't know that he can beat Chris Colbert. Save that name at 130. He beats everyone else fighting this way. You can't hit him. He's Floyd Mayweather. He's Pernell Whitaker. You can't hit him.
You think Herring and Oscar Valdez
Herring is not going to outbox him. I like Herring, but he's not going to outbox him. And Herring's not Herring got a knockout. Maybe Herring's got underrated power a little bit at this weight.
Yeah.
But no, I can't see Herring beat. He's so good. You can't hit him, bro. He's got Pernell Whitaker would do things where he would do nothing for 2.5 minutes, make you miss, and then flurry the last 30 seconds and win the round. He can play with people like this. He's that much better. Now, primetime Chris Colbert can do a lot of things, and he's got power. So I think at this stage, at least, they're still both very young. Chris Colbert can beat him, but I don't think anyone else at 130 can beat him. He can beat everyone else, going the distance and UD12ing everyone with fighting only laterally and going backwards. That's how good he is. He can beat everyone else in the weight class. I think he might be able to beat Loma at 130 if fighting this way because he's a better boxer than him. Like, that's how good he is.
Somewhere, Foogatti is just like getting so triggered by you saying that he's a better boxer than Loma. Someone please clip that and send it to Foogatti, please. Please, for the love of God. I need that.
Yeah, he's going to make a ton of casual fans with this style. So he's got to sell himself in other ways. But you're also not going to beat him. Like, you're not going to beat him. Like, I was like kind of iffy. I'm like, he's good. How good is he? When he destroyed Joet Gonzalez, who's really good, I was like, okay, this guy's really good. He's getting better and better. You can't put hands on him. He literally wins every single round in every fight. He doesn't lose a round. He doesn't lose a moment. And he's apologizing for the performance because he couldn't get him out or he never really picked it up. But, like, if you can do – it's like those saying in football, if you can run the ball up the middle of the 4 yards, just don't do anything else. Right? I can't stop. So if you can do this and win every moment of every fight – now, look, he's not fighting the world's best fighters, granted, right? But, like, he's already beat Gonzalez. He's a really good boxer. Like, his skills are so good. He's so hard to hit. You can't even hit him with a jab. I was like, try to jab him to the body, but you can't. He makes you miss all the time. His reflexes are insane. Like, I don't know what he apologized for. This is the way he fights, and he's really good at it. Like, I wouldn't tell him to do anything differently. You know, maybe against Colbert, you might have to work on some things, but against anyone else in this division, Valdez, Harry, you just do this, and you're going to win. Burchell's not going to be able to cut the ring off on him. Burchell's not going to get in front of him. I guess Burchell's moving up anyway, right?
Yeah, I think so. There's no way he's going to make the weight again.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to tell because he's been fighting this level of competition and dominating them, and that's fine, but it's this level of competition still. You know what I mean? Like, his best win is still Joet Gonzalez. And, Gary, you know what I think of Joet Gonzalez. So, Oscar Valdez, Jamel Herring, they're light years better than anyone Shakur has fought. You know, let alone people like Chris Colbert, who, you know, me and you both think highly of in terms of a prospect / contender. You include like Gervonta Davis in this weight class too. Like, there's a lot of people that think.
Ooh.
I think Shakur is gonna have a real hard time with, because maybe he can't fight both ways like a Pernell could or a Floyd could, right? Because they could fight both ways.
Yeah.
They weren't just defensive boxers. They were defensive wizards that could do a lot of other things exceptionally well.
Especially Floyd. Like, he could destroy corrals. He could walk down Cotto. Right?
Yes. I don't know if Shakur has that in him for that level. Because I've seen him do that for certain fighters. Certain, you know, B-sides he's fought, of course. But there's a lot of fighters that he's fought that are still B-sides, in my opinion, to him. And he's fought like what I heard about on Saturday. So it's hard to tell with him fighting that top 5 guys at 130, let alone going up at 135 and fighting, you know, a Lomachenko or anyone like that. Like, I don't know about that for Shakur. Plus he's young. Like, give him time. You know, maybe he can do that.
He's still really young. He's 23, 24.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got time to get better, grow up, get his man strength a little. Well, like I said, he will be in his prime. He will be entering his prime for 3 more years.
Yuta in the chat saying, get Shakur in there with Tevin Farmer. Dude, Tevin Farmer pretty much...
I love Tevin Farmer.
Dude, Tevin Farmer got blessed with a gift decision against Jonah Carroll.
I thought Carroll won that fight. I did.
Dude, Jonah Carroll, like, landed all the shots. And Tevin Farmer tried to do the Philly shell and failed miserably at it.
I like Tevin Farmer, but you saw, like, when he started fighting better guys, it wasn't enough what he was doing, right? Like, he wasn't the master at it, right? Like, he wasn't the sensei at that. Like, he's good. I like him, but you can see at the highest level, it's not enough. He's
definitely one of those guys you see in the local gym, and you're like, wow, he's really fucking good. But you put that on, like, the national scene or international scene, it's just different. It just is. Anyways, Gary, also, I did see a little bit of this in terms of clips online, the Jose Pedraza to Julian Rodriguez fight. Pedraza looked like he kind of just dominated.
It was a really. I mean, it's been a few days now, but Pedraza dominated that fight. Pedraza looked really good.
I was wrong. Shout out to Pedraza.
This was I think Pedraza kind of, outside of Tank Davis, kind of saves his best performances for the bigger fight. He needed to win this fight. He needed to prove himself at 140. I still think it's the wrong weight class from if he can make 35. But he looked like the sniper of old. He was going to the body well. He fought really well.
Excuse me. Yeah, he did. I mean, and plus he looks like he's really like filling out in this weight class quite well. You know, I know you were kind of worried about him in this weight class, but he looks like he's one of the taller, bigger guys at 140 probably.
He's still tall, but there's guys like Barrios and Josh Till. Like, there's not, his height isn't unheard of in this division. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. Digressing though, if we can move on. There's fights.
Luis Ritson lost that guy Ponce from Argentina. I told you these guys from Argentina who you've never heard of are good. Did you watch the fight?
I did.
Yeah.
Did
you think it was good?
It was, and plus, it was one of those fights where it was like, oh, it's just Luis Ritson doing his Luis Ritson thing, and it's not working, and he's getting beat up. Like, that's kind of what I saw.
Yeah, I'm not saying Ponce is not a mandatory. The WBO, right? It was the WBO, I think.
I think so, yeah.
The IPF, WBO, I don't remember. It doesn't matter because it's all the same champion. He's not ready for that. He's not ready for Josh Taylor. What I'm saying is that was a good performance against a decent opponent. Well, I get that Richards is going to fight into his hands, right? Like, he's a pressure fighter who throws a lot of punches with good pop, goes to the body well. Richards is going to stand in front of him. So it's the right opponent to look really good against, but I would say he looked really good. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be Josh Taylor.
And, sorry to Rob, man. It happens.
Is he not a Richardson fan anymore now?
No, come on. He can't deny that. We have seen hours and hours of him gassing up Luis Ritson, wanting to do Luis Ritson live fight chats. No, he can't escape that one. I'm sorry. Moving on, though, we have a lot of fights this weekend. One of the pound-for-pound greats right now, Naoya Inoue, is fighting Inoue-Dasmarinas, who I could give two shits about, to be quite honest.
He's a lifelong contender. Like,
yeah, he is.
Not a top 10 guy, top 15 guy who's been around.
Top 20-ish.
He's a top 20. I mean, I got to go through the names. I'm sure maybe not anymore, because I guess he's not old, but he's been through a lot of wars. Like, what's his record?
32-1.
Okay. So he's not, I thought you were going to say like he had like 50 fights. Like, okay. How old is his age?
Where do I see the age? I do not see it anywhere, Gary.
All right.
Unknown.
Yeah, I mean he might last some rounds, like Maloney did, but he's not gonna.
His nickname though is Hot and Spicy.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's all things considered, like that's not a terrible nickname.
No, that is true. Definitely a conversation starter. But he hasn't fought anyone, Gary. Like, there's no way he's in the top 20.
He's just been around forever.
He's fought no one. No one. I mean, like, literally no one. Like, and I mean a name that I can be like, oh, yeah, this guy who I know I fought other people. Like, there's no one.
He never fought like a McRoy or something like that.
No, dude.
I feel like everyone at that weight class has fought one of them. All right.
No.
Let me see here.
This is a complete tune-up, man. He's going to wreck this poor guy. He's going to wreck Hot and Spicy, man.
Yeah, he's got really nothing.
No. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing. For a guy that's been fighting since 2012.
Yeah, this is kind of boo-boo-esque, right? Like this really, like this is all who you fought in the 10 years you've been fighting.
At least Boo-Boo fought Vanes Mararosi and fucking Solitsky, man. Like no, man. Yeah. Don't put that evil on Boo-Boo. No, this is bad, man. This is Inoue's like worst fight in a while. Like since like the Japan days, I feel like. Of him at like 112. There's nothing redeeming about this matchup, Gary. Right?
No, except except who's fighting in the main event. No, there's nothing good about the matchup.
The only thing we're getting from this is clips of him and Donaire in the back together, like fighting and being all friendly, and we're never going to get the rematch. Right? Like that's what's going to happen.
We're going to get the rematch, I would think. No?
Absolutely. I think beginning of the fall, if I had to guess. Like maybe like late September, early November.
Who you got? Or do you want to see? Or do you want to see what Inoue looks like?
I don't care what Inoue looks like. I think Inoue's going to beat Donaire better this time.
Okay, I kind of think so too.
Yeah, he's the younger guy. He's the better guy. We saw that in the first fight, and the second fight's even going to be more dominating in terms of his boxing skills. That's what we saw. We saw him outbox Donaire. I think we're going to see more of that in the second fight.
I kind of agree. I think Donaire at this age has to really kind of set things up. Like he can't try to just throw a lot of punches and get his grill. He's got to try to time him with something big because he still obviously still has the power. That's not gone anywhere, especially at the small weight classes. Like his power is still freakish. So I mean, I would look to do that. You know, throw less punches, but make every punch count.
Mm-hmm. The only thing this guy has going for him is like the last time he was like knocked out was in 2012, like right at the beginning of his career. And he's only had one loss since then. It was like split decision. So like maybe he's a tough motherfucker from the Philippines that can crack a little bit.
Yeah.
But like Inoue within 6, right?
Which just makes the fight, yeah, I would say so. I mean, I was gonna say around 6, 5 or 6.
Yeah,
how many rounds did Maloney go? 7?
I think so, right? Let's see. 7. Yep. Look at you, Gary.
I mean,
sometimes your memory is just like on point, man.
Long-term memory is fine. It's the short-term stuff. Ask me the last topic we talked about. I have no idea.
Don't ask me either.
I have a doctor's note for that for mine, so.
So do I.
All right.
Different type of doctor's note. Michaela Mayer versus Erica Annabella Ferreras. I mean, Michaela Mayer, in my opinion, should win this one. I think she's getting better and better as time goes on. Ferris is not a bad fighter. She's fought like great opponents like
everybody, and she's lost close to every one of them.
Still brackets, like she's fought a lot of people. She beat people like Victoria Bustos and people like that too.
She's gonna win. Like she comes so close so often. She's lost to McCaskill twice, close. She lost to Brock, it's fairly close. No, she lost, but it was competitive. She lost to Pursoon, close. She's gonna win this one. She's gonna win one of these. It's like when I always pick Postala to win. Like he's gonna win one of these. He's good. She's gonna win. She's gonna get one of these. When you're close this often, like sooner or later the ball just bounces the right way and it goes your way. She's gonna win.
Yeah, but it's also different times in their careers. Like I'm a huge believer in like momentum in sports, right? Like Michaela Mayer is on the rise. She's young. She's getting better as time goes on. Ferris is 10 years deep in her career now.
Is she from Argentina?
Yes, she is.
All right. The mojo is on the side of the Argentinians.
I knew
she's going to get this. She's going to win this. She's going to win this. Like, the momentum is on the side of the Argentinians right now after that Ponce performance.
I thought the first thing you would mention, Gary, when you said you were going to pick her was her being Argentinian, but
I wasn't sure. I thought she was. I wasn't sure.
Anyways. The decision?
Yeah. Well, she's got knockouts, but she hasn't gotten one in a while, right? Yeah.
Wow. And not like she has like great knockout power. Like I think it's below 50%. It's like 10 knockouts out of 20.
50% for a woman's fight is pretty good. Like you have 50% knockout.
It's more like 33%.
All right, and she hasn't gotten any against. Good
All right. Arguably the best fight of the weekend: Adam Lopez versus Isaac Dogbe. Third fight from the top. Adam Lopez on a little bit of an upswing as of late. lost to Oscar Valdez in a really good fight.
In a fight that shouldn't have been stopped, that he was probably he wasn't winning because the top ranked judges, but we all thought he was winning.
Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird. We all know what that's about. And then has had 2 wins since then. Nothing, extremely of notes in those wins. And Jason Sanchez is a decent name, I would say, but nothing of quality. Isaac Dogboe is a former champion.
World champion, who Top Rank thought was going to be the next great thing in the small weight classes.
Dude, not just Top Rank, man. It's me too, man.
I thought so too. I thought he was going to take some losses, but get a lot of sensational wins too. And so far, it's only been a lot of losses.
Man, it's so tough to think about. Those 2 back-to-back losses to Navarrete are just, those are tough, man. Tough to think about. And they're the type of losses that like forever change a fighter too. You know what I mean? Like they're brutal, brutalizing, dominating losses where he was beat up in both of them significantly. He beat Chris Avalos, which a decent top 25-ish guy.
Yeah.
Give or take. Last year. Adam Lopez, though, I think is a little bit of more of a sneakier opponent. I'm conflicted about this, Gary. I really am. Because I'm a fanboy of Dogboe, so I want to pick him with my heart. But Adam Lopez is a guy that he's scrappy. Like I know like he can really come in here and outbox Dogboe and win a decision. It's 10 rounds? Yeah, he can win a decision. Like that's not like out of the question here. And I also I'm curious about who's the A side here with Top Rank, because as we've seen with Lopez, he can get fucked over if he's the B side. I don't know, Gary. What are you thinking?
Is Dogboe from Ghana? Is that where he's from, Ghana?
Yeah. The
Ghana fighters come back.
They tend to.
Azuma Nelson lost to Leha and he looked done, and then he came back and destroyed him in the third fight. Ike Huarte was written off. He came back. I know he lost the decision of Fars, but we all know he won that fight easy. That was one of the worst decisions ever. That's Paul Williams versus Laura Bed. So I'm going to say the Canadian fighter comes back, and I say Dogboe looks sensational and gets a knockout in a fun fight.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to ride with you, man. Fuck yeah, Dogboe for the win. Yeah. Let's go, man. Dude, I love gun and fighters, man. They are the best, man. Let's go.
They are, because they learned to fight barehanded.
Dude, the clips of fucking Dogboe in his backyard with his uncle sparring. Oh my god! Ahead of a rematch for a world title fight. God bless Dogboe. God bless that man.
He's gonna be tough if nothing else, right?
It is true, man. He's gonna be tough. He's gonna throw bombs. He's gonna throw bombs. That's for sure. But Adam Lopez, goddamn, he's sneaky. He might win this. Anyways, digressing before I keep thinking about it. Also on the card, just want to briefly mention other people on the card. Lindolfo Delgado versus Salvador Brencio. Guido Vanello versus Dante Stone. Eric Prenta versus Jose Meza. Wilfred Marino versus Omar Rosario. And that's it for the Top Rank card.
Lindolfo is a guy you want to watch. He looked sensational when he fought on the Spence undercard against Mikey Garcia, but kind of hasn't
done anything since then, huh?
Since then, right? I want to see what's going on with him. And then the future of the heavyweight division, Guido Vianello. I figured they cut him after that Kings Bay performance. That was awful. He looked awful in it. But he's the future. He's the future. So I had to be a fan. I don't want to be a fan of him. He's not good. But Rob, and you were like, no, you have to be his fan. Like, all right, I'll be his fan then.
That's just how it goes, Gary. We don't make rules, man. We don't. There's a good question in the chat from Jay. I know you might like this one because you're a fan of both, I think, Gary. Whose career has been more disappointing, Boo Boo or Gary Russell Jr.? Has to be Boo Boo, right?
It's Boo Boo. Gary Russell Jr. is at least great. Yep. Yeah.
And he had some good wins. Like the Joseph Diaz win, especially in hindsight, gets better and better with age. Like you can't take that away. Boo Boo's beat Vanes Martirosyan and Solitsky, man. Like It's just so bad. I don't know what to do with Boo Boo, man. I feel bad for the guy. God bless.
I think Gary Russell Jr. is content. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
well, Boo Boo's not. He just can't get a fight, but he just want payday. He want payday.
Payday. Payday.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're prize fighters, right?
Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here.
You're a horrible fighter. Horrible
Fighter.
My favorite was when Boo Boo, he goes, "You're world champion, but you fight with nobody." And Boo Boo goes, "Who do you fight?" He goes, "Who do I fight?"
Oh my god, that might be the best win in Canelo's career, and it was at a press conference. That's how dominant it was.
When he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, when they play like the montage, that has to be in the montage.
Has to be. Has to be. Oh my god. Shout out to Canelo, the legend. Moving on from the top rank card, Gary's main event of the weekend, Jamal Charlo fighting another dude. Gary, the only fight I really care about in this card is Angelo Leo versus Aaron Alamati. Like, that's the only fight I really care about because I love Angelo Leo.
Is Alamati any good though? I mean, we've seen him once and he lost. Like,
wow.
No, I like Angelo Leo. Angelo Leo's a fun fighter. I get it. Alamati lost to Louis Neary, and I guess a somewhat competitive fight, but that's like all that we know about him. Yeah. And Neary got destroyed by Brandon Figueroa, which, all due respect, I mean, Figueroa is another level, right? So, I mean, that's going to happen.
I cannot wait for Stephen Fulton to beat up your boy.
I can't wait for that fight. Oh,
my God, Gary.
But, like, if Fulton wins, it's okay because I was on Fulton's bandwagon early.
God damn it. No, it can't be a win-win situation for you.
It's not a win-win. Like, it's not a win-win. But, like, it's a decent consolation if Fulton wins. Like, no, it's not a win-win. I heard that Brandon Figueroa is following his his big brother's footsteps, though.
With out of the ring extracurricular activities?
Extracurriculars outside of the ring, yeah.
Oh, I've heard tons of stories, Gary. Yes. I don't want to repeat them on the air because for the sake of, I can't like verify them. And two, I don't want to hurt your feelings,
No, I didn't know that. Like, and then like there were people in that part of the state who were telling me, yeah, he parties just as hard as his brother does.
I hear he doesn't balloon up as much though in weight. That's the one thing I've heard, that he parties a lot.
Yeah.
But
he is a gym rat, and that's good, but he's still really young. He's still going to be a gym rat when he's 27, 28. Like, it gets harder and harder as you get older and older to keep, that up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he's one of those guys that you don't suspect to be a partier, but he is. Kind of like Leo Santa Cruz. Like, Leo Santa Cruz is a heavy partier.
Yeah.
But you would never suspect that to watch him on, like, an interview. Or like
David Benavidez likes to parties with hookers.
You can tell. You can tell. Okay. I don't know what it is, man, but you can tell about him.
When he said that, when he told Mauricio Silva that was the reason why he fell, I believe him. Like, why would you make that up? It's got to be the truth.
Absolutely. Gary, I mean, give us the technical breakdown here of Montiel Charlo. I mean, since Montiel is such a wizard in your mind.
I never said wizard. He's a come forward fighter. He's that Mexican style with pop, and I think that's dangerous. I don't expect him to win, and I think if Charlo's path here is to not engage him because Charlo's the better boxer, clearly. So Charlo's going to want to keep him on the outside and set him up, soften him up, and get him out in the later rounds, or just coast to a decision. But Montiel is going to be on the come. He's going to be coming forward. He's going to be looking to land big shots. I think he's a good fighter, so he will be able to get inside at times, but I don't think it's going to be enough to break Charlo down or stop him or anything like that. But I think Montiel's a decent fighter who you guys aren't giving a whole ton of respect to. Put some respect on his name. Respekk.
Gary, come on, man.
Again, he's not. I'm not saying he's going to be a world champion. I'm not saying he's that next guy, right? I'm saying he's a pretty good fighter, and like this is not the. It's not the best fight in the world. Obviously, it's not the worst fight in the world either.
Gary. Anyways,
fight I would have picked for my boy, but it's not. It's not the worst fight in the world. Montiel is a decent top 15 opponent.
No way. We're doing it again, Gary. We're doing it again. Going to the rankings. I can't handle this.
I'm just gonna put him in there arbitrarily at this point because I have to, right? Like
if we're gonna haggle about Kambosos, no, we're doing this, okay? Let's see what we got here. No, he's not making the top 10 for sure.
Probably not 10.
Probably not. Dude, Laura's in the division now.
That's true. That's true. All right.
He
looked real good too, by the way, when he beat Cornflake.
Dude. Shout out to Laura. All right, Triple G, Charlo, Andrade. Okay, Munguia.
Oh, get Munguia off the list. He beats Munguia. He does the same thing with Munguia, except he has power. He beats Munguia.
Munguia knocked him out in 2 rounds.
That's year. I've only seen the guy fight twice way before I saw him. Shoot, you're right. I kind of lose that argument.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Okay, Munguia should be this high, but he's in the list above Montiel. Okay, so this doesn't matter. Right? Let's not haggle about all the particulars. Laura, yes. Eubank, yes.
Put a star next to that one.
Put a star. Okay, Gary. I'll put a star next to it.
That's kind of equal level.
Sure. Yes. Murata, yes. Zalitsky, yes. Liam Williams, star. Rob Brandt, yes. Falcao, yes. No way, freaking boots. Get the fuck out of here.
Why is he so high on the list?
I don't know, man. Felix Cash. I mean, he's a prospect. Like I don't
Lewis Aries. I guess you got to put Aries above him now, but Aries' best win is against a 154 pounder.
Hey, I put Kanat Islam because he's just a better prospect. He might get in. It's close, man. Fuck.
So the division is not that great.
That top 10's decent though. But goddamn, okay, you might be right, Gary. I'll give you this one. I'll give you this one.
Thank you, sir.
It was close though. It was a close battle. Damn it. Moving on from that, where we're at. Oh, the Charlo card. Yeah. There's a lot of people on the card that I largely don't care about. Gary, do you know the card in depth? Do you want me to read it off? Or
I mean, no. But for which card?
The Charlo card.
Oh no, we could get to the other card. I mean, this undercard.
It's not good.
It's not. I'm not trying to insult this card. This is not a great card. I mean, the main event I don't think is terrible, but it's not a good main event, right? It's okay. Like, it is what it is. And then the undercard isn't terrific.
Damn. Anyways, Jaime Munguia versus Kamil Zamorata on DAZN. And Better Melakuzia versus Gabriel Rosado as well. Plus prospects, Blair Cobbs, Alexis Rocha, Tristan Kalkuth are also on.
And also Gregory Morales, who's Golden Boy's newest acquisition, will fight on the undercard.
Goya. Who is he? Is he good?
He's 12-0. He turned pro when he was like 16 in Mexico. He's good. He's not your typical Mexican fighter. He moves a little bit more, but he's still got. He's from San Antonio. He's good. He's not really fighting anyone of note because he's been inactive for a while. Like he had contractual things with Golden Boy that made some fights fall through, and then
he's 5'8" at 122 pounds. That's a lot of height.
Yeah, and he uses the height, and he moves pretty well. So he's got power. He's like, I would compare him to like in that weight class, like Pedraza a little bit. He fights at the long range.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying he's going to be a multi-division world champion. I'm saying like he fights kind of in the same fashion. But he's a good prospect.
In terms of the top 2 fights, Munguia, in my opinion, should beat Zamorata. I don't think he's going to knock him out. I think Munguia's power is always overrated. But he should beat Zamorata, who I'd never have been high on or thought anything of, to be quite honest. Gary, your thoughts on the main event?
this is the fight that they want to make him look good in. If he doesn't destroy Zamorata like Triple G did, again, I don't know. I mean, he's still going to be a draw. Like, if he doesn't look great, maybe it's a great fight. Has even more fans, right? And then they say he beat world title challenger Zamorata, which is true. He's a world title challenger. I don't know how he got that world title shot because he beat some guy in an 8-rounder on a Triple G undercard.
Yes.
You get to fight for a world title. They want payday. They want payday.
You want payday. Payday. Speaking of payday, if Melikuziev beats Gabriel Rosado, it looks like impressive, like in the process, fast track to the top, right?
Yes, but I mean, a top, it's going to be tough because he's a golden boy fighter. If Canelo has all the belts, he's not going to get a world title shot. I wouldn't think. Unless people say that he can beat Canelo, right? If someone comes out and says that, then Canelo will fight him on principle. But, like, no one's really going to say that because I think he's really good. And he's freakishly athletic for a guy who's built like that. But he's not going to beat Canelo anytime ever, right? So, I mean, it's going to be tough. If Canelo wants to just sit at 168 and run the division for years to come and be the best super middleweight ever, like, there's only one guy you can beat who has a belt. So, would you get him in a Triple G fight? I don't know. That would be interesting.
Whoa. Why are you discounting Caleb Plant like that, bro?
That's right. I'm picking Caleb Plant to win. That's right. So Caleb Plant will have all the belts.
What are you doing, fam? Come on.
And that's, yeah. Caleb Plant is going to – I'm picking Plant to win that fight. You know, I don't think he's really going to win, but I'm going to pick Plant in that fight just to be different because I think Plant's really good.
Obviously, like, there's going to be an issue with the fact that there is a different side to the street and you're not on it, so to speak, right? With Golden Boy versus Canelo. But there are tons of people in the DAZN umbrella that he can fight.
Yeah, there's lots of good names for the fight.
That are not champions right now. That people that just lost belts, for example. Like, I know Billy Joe might never fight again, but like Callum Smith is definitely going to fight again. John Ryder's going to fight at some point. Like, these are names that you can fight in the top 10 that he will probably be fighting in the next 12 months if he beats up Gabe Rosado.
Zach Parker, I think, is pretty good. I like to see him fight Zach Parker.
Daniel Jacobs. Get Daniel Jacobs out, man.
Not after that last performance.
It's weird.
That'd be a good fight.
Isn't it weird that we haven't heard from like Daniel Jacobs at all since then?
Yeah.
Like, what's he doing? Is he fighting again? Did he retire and we never heard about it?
I think he's pulling a Tiki Barber, and he's like, "That's it. I'm not going to risk any more injuries. I'm going to just set up my career as a television star, and this is over now."
By the way, I'm picking Gabe Rosado.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he arguably beat Daniel Jacobs.
He did. Most people thought he won that fight. I mean, again, I don't think it was a robbery. I scored it for Rosado. There were a lot of rounds where absolutely nothing happened. If you had it one-sided for Rosado, it was because he was doing better than you expected, and you gave him the close rounds. It was like when people say, what's his name? Maidana beat Mayweather. It's like, no, he didn't. He just did better than you thought he was going to do. He didn't win 7 rounds in that fight. Like, he didn't win that fight.
I think Melikuziev is a completely untested fighter. And when I have any untested fighter that I'm questionable on their ceiling, fighting a quality veteran like Rosado, I'm probably going to pick the quality veteran to sort of like stave off the young generation. And plus, Rosado has looked pretty decent as of late. Like, he doesn't look like a shot fighter to me when you would think he would, right?
Yeah.
When you think he looked like a Soto Carras out there, or a who was the other guy? God, why am I forgetting the other guy? Not necessarily like Jose Lopez, but like somebody like that, like, you know, who not really doing much right now because like they're just, no one cares about them. Like, people care about Gabe Rosado, and he's putting in decent performances still.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
He was this close to getting his career best win in his last performance against Jacobs. Even the announcer thought he won until he changed his mind and said from Philadelphia, Brooklyn, New York.
Team Batman Boxing, he is a 1-20 favorite over Rosado. I mean, sure.
Are you serious?
Melikuziev's best win is Vaughn Alexander.
Yeah.
And
good opponent on the way up, but nothing to prepare you for.
And then Clay Collard. Alan Campa.
It's like Vaughn Alexander, if you're 7-0, 8-0, good win, right? Like, it's a good step up. But, like, you don't beat Vaughn Alexander and then say you're ready to fight world-class fighters. And look, maybe he is, but, like, you can't tell that off a Vaughn Alexander fight.
And, you know, I feel like there's a lot of fighters that are being pushed right now that are prospects that are, like, they're not going to be world champions. They're not going to be top 10 fighters. And that happens with every, like, wave of prospects. You know, like, the cream rises to the top. Like, that's what's going to happen. And some of them aren't the cream, man. Like, that's just the reality to it. And I don't know if Melikuziev is that. I don't know if Melikuziev is the guy that's going to, like, going to go on and, like, fight Dave Benavidez and Caleb Plant and Blair Saunders and all of them and beat them. Like, I don't see that. I don't see it right now. Maybe.
No, I'm saying he's done nothing to make you think that he can beat Plant or Billy Joe or Benavidez, but he also hasn't fought anyone that would make you think that, right? So, I mean, this is a big step up. Let's see how he looks. If he dominates this fight, okay, that's a good win. Get another win like this, beat Zach Parker or Callum Smith or Chris Eubank Jr. Could fight it, right? Like, you should beat Ronald Ellis. He's a 160 or 168.
168.
But you beat Ronald Smith, Ronald Ellis. Beat someone like that. Get another good win, and you know. But I can't say if you know he's done nothing. Vaughn Alexander is fine, and he's looked good because he's so big and he doesn't fight the way that you think he should fight. But he's not there yet. Mm-hmm. It's a matter. How many fights has he had? 8, 10, 7. Let the guy have some time.
And Team Batman Boxing, who's obviously a big fan of Melikuziev. Shout out to you, Team Batman. His aim is prepared to fight Kovalev. Levels. I mean, yeah, that fight was signed and everything. Kovalev popped dirty, and that's why the fight didn't happen.
Oh, that's right.
But, like, even that was maybe a bridge too far for Melikuziev. Like, even though it was a older Kovalev coming off of a long layoff and a massive KO loss, it could have still been too much for Melikuziev, especially a division higher. And a guy like Kovalev, who's a heavy hitter still. I don't know. I do not know about that one. I think there are probably better prospects at this weight, like Carlos Gongora, who a lot of people in the chat are also.
David Morrell.
The David Morrell is a great prospect.
Morrell's real good. But I think the future, because Benavidez is what, 24? Yep. The division, I don't know if Benavidez is going to stay at 68 for the long haul, but, like, the division's in good shape. It's in good shape when 68. It's got young fighters.
Absolutely. Also, I mean, Gary, you want to talk about any of your boys like Tristan Calcuth or anything like that before we move off?
No, I was going to go after this fight because it's in El Paso, but I'm not flying all the way out to El Paso is like 600 miles away. I go to El Paso to watch Calcuth knock somebody out in a round. And then I saw Morales. This is his first fight signed with Golden Boy. But he's only fighting a 4-rounder. So it's like, I'm not going out to watch both these guys get first-round knockouts. Like, if they were fighting somebody a little bit better, I would have went. But I'm not going all the way out there, too. I mean, it's, like, far. El Paso is a different area code. I mean, a different zip code. Time zone. Different time zone. Like, it's far.
It is.
It's midnight in Texas, 11 p.m. in El Paso. That was, like, always, like, when you're watching TV when you were a kid. See, you don't know this. Like, you never watched, like, network television, like free television, right? And they'd have the 12 o'clock news in Texas, and it'd be like, it's midnight in Texas, 11 p.m. in El Paso. But you don't know that, right? Because you didn't. Like,
what do you mean?
You don't watch like the channel. You never watched like Channel 8 or ABC News at midnight, did you? Yeah, you didn't have that. I mean, you had it, but no one watched it.
Gary, do you think like Netflix was out when I was a baby?
How old are you? 26?
Yes, we're only like 10 years apart, Gary.
Almost 12, but yeah. Okay. All right.
Like, I was alive before YouTube was around.
But do you remember before YouTube was around?
Absolutely.
YouTube became popular when, like 07?
Gary, I remember going to the movie theaters for Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace.
All
It
right.
came out in 1998 or 1999. I
9.
was like 4. I remember that shit. Lord of the Rings. I saw all that shit in theaters.
All right.
That was
All
all
right.
early 2000s. That all came out before YouTube. Pirates of the Caribbean. Boom. As you can see,
So
most of
how old were you when you saw like Lord of the Rings?
when the movies came out. So that's what, 2000, 2001, 2002?
Yeah, so I mean, you were just a little guy then.
Yeah.
And you remember that?
Absolutely.
But you don't remember what happened 5 minutes ago? All right. I don't remember stuff when I'm 7. I really don't.
Dude, I remember like things from way back. Absolutely. You would have seen, Matt, did you see Gladiator in the theaters? No, but I did see it when I was a kid.
I never saw it.
My parents had a rule when I was a kid because I was a history nerd, right? So I can watch anything that was history related, regardless of the rating. Because my parents were like, it's educational. So like Braveheart, Gladiator, Patriot.
Raging Bull.
Well, I mean, like, yes, that's educational. But I was into like sports movies as a kid.
Okay.
Like more like ancient history and shit like that.
Okay.
NJNP is saying that I'm bullshitting. No, I'm not bullshitting. No. For example, when the Two Towers came out, the sound cut out in like the middle of the battle when like the fucking like elves are shooting the arrows and shit. And like we had to like leave the theater. I forget like what threat it was. It might have been like a bomb threat or something like that. So we had to come back like the next day and watch it again for free. So I technically saw one of them twice in theaters. Boom. See, memories. See, if you just don't smoke till you're like 13, you're set. You have memory.
13?
And?
All right.
Gary, don't judge me.
I'm not judging you.
I know what you were doing. Maybe not 13.
All the things, and I like smoking's bad, so you should do it in other forms. Of all the things that you can take, we'll call it cannabis. I don't want to get censored here.
Hemp.
Hemp is on, like, if here's the bad line, like, it's on the good side of the bad line. Like, I have. Now, of course, you can abuse anything, and I don't think smoking is the best bet. Edibles, tablet form,
oils,
dropper, oils. Lots of good ways to take it. Smoking's bad for your lungs. I don't recommend it.
Digressing though, Gary, the best fight of the weekend. We should have led with this. Let's be honest, Gary. We failed our audience here. The best card of the weekend is a doubleheader of legends, Mexican Hall of Famers, Gary, and Chavez Sr. and Jr. Gary, you hyped? I'm hyped.
Well, he's fighting Hector Camacho Jr. Because Hector Camacho Sr., God rest his soul, is dead. So it's not two Hall of Famers.
No, I said two Mexican Hall of Famers, and like Chavez Jr. That was the joke.
Yes, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. Yes.
Oh my God, Gary, keep up, man. Remind me to talk to you off air about someone hitting me up.
That was a great segue from talking about marijuana going straight into Chavez Jr.
It was. Without even thinking about it, I did that. Yes. God bless it. I mean, Gary, what do you think about this card? I mean, you got Ramon Alvarez, aka one of Canelo's brothers. I forget if it's the younger or older. I forget exactly. And there's like 20 fights on this card. Like it's stacked with people that I largely do not know. And plus we have Chavez Jr. versus the UFC Hall of Famer, MMA Hall of Famer, and Anderson Silva, one of the greats of all time, who has a 1-1 boxing record from Brazil in the 90s.
I like Anderson Silva, so I'm torn here, right? Because like I want Anderson Silva to win because I respect Anderson Silva. He's a master. But if he beats a legitimate boxer, what does that say about my sport? So I'm kind of torn here. I don't know who to root for here.
I mean, dude, Jake Paul knocked out an old MMA fighter. We should be fine, right?
But Chavez is not that old. He just fought Danny Jacobs fairly. Like, he's a real boxer. Like, you can say what you want about Chavez. Is he an underachiever? Sure. Is he not as good as his father? Obviously. But he's a legitimate fighter. He's got legitimate wins. If he loses to Anderson Silva, that makes your sport look bad.
Dude, I so hope Anderson wins. Like, with everything in me, I hope he wins. I hope Chavez tries for 3 rounds and then just gives up like last time. I want to go like that too, because that would just be too funny. I want Mickey Rourke in the back with him again. Come on, Gary, you know you want that. And in terms of Chavez Sr. and Hector Camacho Jr., I could give 2 fucks about that, to be quite honest. I am morbidly interested in the Chavez Jr. Anderson Silva fight, though.
I really am too, and I don't know. I want to root for Silva, but I don't want my sport to be embarrassed by Chavez getting knocked out. And how old is Silva? He's got to be 50, right? He's got to be in his 50s.
I think he's 46.
Okay. All right. I mean,
no big deal. No big deal. We're good.
A 46-year-old MMA guy. This is not a great look for a. What is Chavez 30? Chavez Jr. 32? He's not that old.
I think Anderson Silva is. I think we view this with more legitimacy because there was always talks about him fighting Roy Jones for
that was I wanted that to happen just to settle debates I had in high school.
Exactly. So I think that's why we look at it a little bit differently than other boxing versus MMA shits, because Anderson's been talked about in the boxing community for a decade plus. Chavez Jr. is still young enough to where he's not an old fighter. It's not like Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones where it's 2 old guys fighting, which can still be big because it did 1.5 million buys. But that was still just a circus fight. No one went into that thinking this is a legit heavyweight matchup to determine who's the best heavyweight in the world.
No, but some stupid people thought that Mike Tyson would be this was his comeback. Some stupid people did think that. Not anyone who would listen to this show, because if you're listening to this show, you're a boxing fan, right? But I was talking about your common stupid person who you come across.
Common stupid person, yes, those people, yes, the stupids. Anyway, Gary, any other thoughts on fights this weekend?
Oh, Clarissa Shields.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about her MMA debut. I mean, did you watch it?
I watched it. Yeah.
What did you think?
I thought she got better while it got. I don't know anything about the girl she fought, so I can't tell you whether it was a good or a bad performance. But she looked like she got better. She looked like she got more comfortable, and by the 3rd round, she was, in complete control. So, I don't want her to do this because I want her in the ring. But if this is something, maybe hopefully she got paid well for it. I don't know if she did or she didn't. No, common stupid people.
I mean, I'll put it this way. I think Shields has a lot of potential in MMA. She's young enough too. I mean, she's 25?
Yeah.
So she in theory, she can have 3 more years of dedicated training before she's even in her prime or in her prime.
But why? When she's already the best at this, it's could LeBron James play tight end? I don't know. If you wanted to transform him and do that, I suppose he could. Why not? But he's already the best at this. So I just wanted to box. I don't. Some people like to climb Mount Everest or swim the English Channel. Maybe this is a challenge that she just wants to do. I don't know. But I don't want her to do this. I wanted to box. I wanted them to pay her well enough that she could just be a millionaire boxer because she's that good.
But that's not happening. That's the reality. She's not getting the paychecks in her mind that she would in MMA. And from what I know about the 2 sports, in terms of women's MMA and women's boxing, that tends to be true. Women's MMA fighters at the very top are paid far more consistently well than women's boxers at the very top, obviously in women's boxing. So I don't blame her for this. And plus, I don't think it's as much of a transition, let's say, as any other athlete going into a completely different stick and ball sports, right? There's far more skills and abilities that transfer here, especially the fact that she's gonna be fighting at weight classes where it's not it's a deep weight class, 155 for women in MMA is not a developed weight class in any of the major promotions. So she can sort of just feast against no-name people for a while, develop her talent, make good money, and be talented doing it. I think she can also do boxing as well. I think she has the ability and time to do both. And she can get the one-off or two-off fights a year in boxing that are big fights. But if she's gonna take like tune-up shits, like I'd rather her just do that in MMA. Because to me, at least, it's more interesting. There's more of a dramatic, environment there for me. Because in boxing, she's too dominant. Like I'll put it this way: the entire fight, I was like nervous because she was getting dominated the first 2 rounds, in my opinion.
The second round, you thought so too? I thought the second round she did a lot better. The first round was bad. The second round, I thought she did a lot better, and then the third round.
The second round, she did better. I thought she lost it, to be quite honest. So I thought she needed the knockout in the third round heading into that. I thought she absolutely needed that finish, and she got it, of course. But yeah, I'm okay with it. Like I'm along for the ride. I'll be honest. Maybe that's because I'm more of an MMA fan than you, of course, Gary. And plus, like, there's not many fights out there in boxing that I really care about for her. There's only like maybe 3 that I can name. Right?
Are you counting Katie Taylor?
Okay, maybe 4.
Okay. I mean, there's not a ton of fight. I mean,
and maybe there's no fights in MMA that like really stand out as like those are like the next matchup for her because of the weight issue. But she's gonna get paid over there, and it's gonna be dramatic because she might lose because she's not as developed in that sport.
Who was the third name you were counting? Savannah Marshall?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah. I want to see Savannah Marshall because I want to see her fight again. But like, I don't expect that to be a very competitive fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I only want to see Savannah Marshall fight to shut up Rob.
But she's beaten her like 3 more times in the amateur since she lost to her. Like, it's not like that was the last time they ever fought in the amateur. She's beaten her plenty of times.
Gary, I just want them to.
Rob doesn't think Savannah Marshall's going to win.
No, he does. He thinks she's going to knock her out.
All right.
Just like you thought Lewis Ritson was going to be a champion.
There's a better chance Lewis Ritson is going to be a champion than Savannah Marshall, which is like 0, right? That Savannah Marshall is going to beat Clarissa Shields. Like, there's a 0% chance that's going to happen.
But anyways, Gary, any other thoughts there? I forgot exactly where we started there, where we ended. Close Shields.
Yeah, Shields. No, I was more interested in what you thought of it because I'm not really.
No, I think she has her striking is going to be, of course, light years above everyone, but I think she's going to pack a lot of power in MMA comparative to boxing. To be quite honest, I'm excited. I'm really interested to see where her career goes. Because if she can get down to 145, then a lot of matchups are available for her that are big matchups. Chris Cyborg, Amanda Nunes. Like, there's a lot of fights that automatically start materializing for her. So hopefully she can do that. Or, make catch weights. Like, again, make something happen. Moving on from that, Gary. Obviously, we were supposed to talk about Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos. Teofimo Lopez tested positive for COVID. The entire card has been postponed to August 14th, which was going to be the date we were going to have a card. So now we have to postpone it as well. Thanks, Lopez. Gary, your thoughts on the rescheduling?
I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, there's nothing you can do. It is what it is. I mean, I'm glad they didn't try to sell the pay-per-view without this.
I thought they were going. I so thought this card was going to go ahead on pay-per-view. I was really worried about it.
They've done so much money into this fight. Like, it's like the boxing gods. Actually, are you sure? Like, this is your way out. I guess it's not like they still have to make the fight, but like, TV was getting paid like 5, and then Kambosos get like 1.5. Like, they paid so much money for this fight. Like,
yeah, I know. Next topic on the news: Charlo versus Castano. It's finally official, Gary. It's happening in San Antonio, AT&T Center, July 17th. Showtime. It's not pay-per-view. Thank God. Gary, your thoughts on it finally happening and it happening in your state?
Well, we knew it was happening. It just didn't. I was going to go to this, and then like I realized like my I guess goddaughter to be is getting baptized on the 18th, so I can't go to this. Yeah. Like this is like when Canelo fought Beefy at Cowboy Stadium. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm down for this. It's like, no, your best friend's getting married this day. You're in the wedding. You can't go. I was like, oh man.
Are
like,
we that good of friends? Let me think about that relationship real fast.
What's funny is my best friend, his wife is Mexican, right? And she told him that they're getting married on Mexican Independence Day. And the first thing her dad said was, you know, Canelo fights on that day. Oh, nothing. It's good. Congratulations. That's good. and then it happens to be like in my hood. And now this is in San Antonio. I was all hyped for this. I'm like, wait a second. I can't go. This is like, maybe someone will test positive for COVID a couple weeks before.
God damn. The triple header isn't too exciting in terms of like the undercard. Rolly Romero versus Austin Dudley, Amilcar Vidal versus Emmanuel Lim. Like they're all right fights, but they're nothing that are really wowing in any way. But the main event, of course, is all we need.
Great.
I mean, that is one of the best fights, if not the best fight you can make in boxing right now. The winner of that's absolutely in pound for pound rankings, in my opinion.
I think Jamel already is, just based on the collection of belts that he's gotten.
He probably is, but it will be undeniable if he beats Castano.
Yeah,
it will be undeniable. Gary, any preliminary thoughts on the matchup?
This is great. I'm leaning towards Castano just because I don't think Jamel will stay disciplined. He likes to trade too much. His heart gets too big sometimes. And if you want to make a firefight with Castano, he can beat anyone at 54. Anyone. Like Castano is so good offensively. I think there's a path to victory for Jamel, but I don't think he follows it. And I think like once the fire gets hot, now you're in Castano's wheelhouse. And Castano is so Castano's got flaws defensively. He can be outboxed. He's kind of short for the division. Like what's he like 5'9", where Jamel's like 5'11". Like Jamel's a little bit taller than him. He's got range on him. He should be able to use that. I think he is the faster fighter, but Castano is so complete. Like the way he mixes up head and body, the way that he gets in and out, like, he's really, really good offensively. He's got a really good pop. I'm leaning towards Castano as like in a great fight, though.
Oh, come on, man! Charlo's going to win that.
You think so?
Absolutely.
You picked Charlo to lose to Jason Rosario.
That's because I was high, on fucking Rosario,
And that knockout was still weird. Like, what was that? Remember the knockout? It's like the body shot.
The Rosario win over J-Rock, far better win, far more impressive than Castano's win against Teixeira.
Agreed.
Okay, that's why. Moving on, Earl Spence saying that he told Heyman that he wants Crawford after Pacquiao, where he's moving up to 154. Gary, does this finally mean we are getting the fight?
No.
No.
It's a step in the right direction, but like I've always said, in order for this fight to happen, both guys want to have to make it, especially the A side. Someone needs to tell Crawford that the A side is not him, but wants to make the fight. Right? Because Crawford in his brain is saying that I'm the A side, but you're not. Right? Like I've said this before. Spence's best option from a monetary standpoint is someone who's not you, who's on the same side of the street with him, so it's an easier fight to make. So if you want to fight him, you have to take it on the discount because he's got a better option that's easier to make, which is Pacquiao, which is made. So, like, this happens only if Crawford understands he's not the A side, which I don't think he understands that.
But after Spence theoretically beats Pacquiao, he would have to understand that, right?
I don't know what Crawford thinks. Crawford's fight. fighting leftovers. And I'm not like Kell Brook's a good fighter, but he's a leftover. Amir Khan, I don't know why you fight Amir Khan, right? Like these fights, like they're not great. And now he's gonna fight Josito Lopez, maybe. Like go fight Ugas. Get that belt. Be a unified champ yourself.
Gary, I don't know, man.
Like, I mean, look, I don't know what Crawford thinks, and I'm a Crawford fan, but, like, you had a chance to fight Porter. Porter openly said, Porter's been able to negotiate a fight with every other top welterweight. Said he wanted to fight you, and then you never even made him a legitimate offer. Like, there's something on the Crawford camp where Crawford has in his head that he's a way bigger star than he is, even if he's a great fighter, which he is. Like, he's not the star that he thinks he is.
Or, Aram's not the negotiator that he thinks he is as well. A little bit of a combination of the two, probably.
Right, especially when he doesn't have, like, he's not the star. So you have to, you kind of have to submit and work with what the star wants. Like, you have to be kind of the subordinate one where, like, Spence says, I'm willing to fight you. These are the terms. Now, you get the best deal you can. You don't just take their first deal, but you have to understand that he's in control, not you.
I absolutely agree. Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul exceeds 1 million pay-per-view buys, says the sources via Mike Coppinger. Gary, your thoughts on this pay-per-view buy rate? Lower than we expected.
A lot lower. I thought it might be double this. Like, just from the reaction I was getting on the day of the fight from everyone, people who don't watch boxing. I'm wondering how many people paid for this and how many people didn't pay for this that still watched it, if you know what I mean. Because my Twitter was blown up with this crap, right? Like, I thought it was going to be a huge number. And it was fine. Yeah, it's a million.
It's fine. It's still a million.
Yeah.
We say it's fine for, like, Earl Spence doing, like, $300K.
Yeah. Well,
to put it all in perspective a little bit, like, $1 million is still very good. It just seemed like the traction was so much higher, and it probably was.
Yeah.
But this fight appeals to a younger demographic, a demographic that can probably find ways to view this fight in other ways, other avenues, as some.
And again, morally, if someone puts something online and you just look at it, that's them stealing, not you. That's just my perspective. I just put these letters into my keyboard and this came up. I don't know what you're talking about.
The URL says free fight.
Oh, cool. Okay. Like a free sample? I'll take it.
PiratePayPerviews.com. What do you mean randomly? I wonder what the Jake Paul fight will do. If it's gonna do better or worse off of the performance of this fight. But I have no real in-depth thoughts about it. They did 1 million pay-per-view buys. It's a big number. It's gonna be in the top 3 or 2 pay-per-views of the year. Let's be honest. And everyone saying the actual streaming URL in the chat. Don't self-snitch. They're watching. They're always watching. Gary, your boy, Joe Joyce, is fighting Carlos Takam. I'm sorry. Just to round off the news so we get out of here. World Boxing Super Series is back, guys, with one weight class and in women's super featherweight. So, I mean, like, who Michaela Mayer and Terry Harper are like the women that we're going to hope that they get. They're not going to get.
It's fine. But now because they had money problems, they're like, well, we'll just do a women's tournament so we don't have to pay them any money, really. Like, that's what they're thinking is. You know that.
It is what it is. And last piece of news, Gary, I know you're hyped.
I was going to put this in the like, nah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yes. Oscar De La Hoya is going to box Vitor Belfort, or Victor Gracie, as he's called in his UFC debut, in a pay-per-view exhibition September 11th.
Where is it, Matt?
Oh, I didn't look even at the article. Las Vegas. It will likely take place at a venue in Las Vegas. Oh,
I'll go.
it will be a Triller fight pay-per-view.
Oh, so it's not a Golden Boy pay-per-view.
No.
So it's a zone fight.
Well,
Okay.
Oscar has like his like a new promotional company, right?
Kind of.
It's like
Yeah.
It's like Bally Sport or something like that. Remember?
Yeah, I vaguely.
And he's gonna do like MMA and like other boxing too. I don't know why. I'm thinking it's like a tax reason, or
Because
like
they're forcing him out of Golden Boy.
a money laundering
I
reason.
got money laundering thing.
Like I don't know, man. Like it's weird. Like you have one of the most recognizable promotional names in the industry, and you're making another promotional company called Bally Sports.
Remember when Canelo sent him a tweet that had like the picture of the kitchen utensils?
Yeah. Yeah. Gary, I'll be honest. I'm gonna pick Belfort in this fight.
I'm gonna pick De La Hoya because I like De La Hoya. See, he's on the wall. Where is he? There he is.
The only reason I'm picking him is because Belfort is a 200-pound roided out motherfucker. He can hit hard. He's a decent striker. De La Hoya is like 160 pounds, walking around wet, out of shape, on whatever, God knows what, but not like the PD stuff, not the good stuff. No, man, I'm taking Belfort.
Can we get credentials for this? Because I want to watch it, but like, I'm not paying for this.
Oh my god!
Like this is my pay-per-view. Like you want me to pay money for this?
Gary, if you want,
like, really?
We can get you credentials for this. Probably, you know that.
I'll go. Like for real.
I'll take one for
like because it's De La Hoya. I like De La Hoya.
It might be his last fight. It might be it.
Then yeah, I think so. It's what was the date on this?
September 11th. 9/11.
Nope, can't go. Can't go. Maybe someone will get COVID and they'll push it back a few weeks. I don't want anyone to get COVID. I don't want anyone in the Jamel Charlo fight to get COVID. I don't want Oscar or anyone in that fight to get COVID. I'm joking.
Gary, I forgot to pull it up. But the new fight camp schedule for Matchroom. Who's it all again? It's Granados versus Conor Ben. Right.
Oh shoot. It was decent. Like it was decent. Oh, did Rob put it in the group chat or the topics chat?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Rob's busy with the big show.
I got it. All right. Week 1. Conor Ben versus Granados. Shannon Courtney versus the dreaded TBA. Tommy McCarthy versus Chris Billiam Smith. Yildirim is back versus Jack Cullen. Anthony Fowler versus Robert Garcia. That guy's still fighting?
Yes.
Campbell Hatton versus TBA and somebody named Sandy Ryan. I don't know the gender of that person. Do you know who Sandy Ryan is?
You don't know who Sandy Ryan is?
Casual. Then week 2.
It's obviously the grandson of Sandy Koufax, man. Come on.
I was gonna say Nolan Ryan. Sandy Koufax and Nolan Ryan went in halves on a baby. Week 2 is the big one. I can't believe they're doing this at Eddie's house. Kid Galahad versus Jazza Dickens.
Okay, I'm actually excited for that fight just because, me and Gary had beef on this one.
Fabio Wardley versus the dreaded TBA. Then you have Maxim Proden against Florian Marku.
Who?
He got a knockout. He's an okay fighter. He's got power. Rob likes him a lot. I forget where he's from. Florian Marku, Marku. And you got Alan Babic against Mark Bennett. I don't know who Mark Bennett is. Then you have Ebony Bridges versus Beck Connolly. I don't know who that is. Then some fights I don't care about. And then week 3, it's just 3 weeks. Boatsi versus Richards Bolotniks.
Biloxi?
Like Bolotnik. Savannah Marshall versus dreaded TBA.
Obviously not Clarissa Shields.
Raymond Ford versus Reese Bellotti. It's a decent fight, right?
This is all garbage.
Felix Cash and then Cash Farouk will also be on the card.
This doesn't get me excited. Maybe the Conor Ben fight in Granados. That's about it. I like that fight. That's about it. Gary, any other thoughts before we head out of here, man?
No more thoughts. I can't remember anything. What are we doing? We're doing our outros?
Yes, outros.
Okay. Find me all home social media, 3D Boxing blog. Please follow my new channel. Very important to me, guys. Texas Boxing Scene. All proceeds go to autism research and recovery. It is June 17th, 2021. Ivan Calderon is still in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Let's make that change. Let's get the Iron Boy in. Texas is still not a country. Let's make Texas a country again. From Texas to the world, thank you, and God bless.
Yuta is asking us to talk about Wilder Fury Presser. I didn't watch it because I don't really
I figured we would talk about that. I mean, Wilder wouldn't talk. At press conferences, I know a lot of people are into them. I get that. They don't move the needle for me. Especially when you get two weird people like Fury and Wilder. I mean, I guess that could make for interesting television, right?
But I think most of the time it hasn't been that interesting for like them nowadays. Like it doesn't like the build-up doesn't interest me. Like the fight does. Like I don't care about them bullshitting because that's all it is them bullshitting. Yeah. Like neither of them are like honest. Neither of them say anything that insightful anymore. Like I'm good on it. Just give me the fight. Gary, you good on that topic?
Yeah, I mean, I wish Rob was on today, which is why I asked him to come on because he was into it. I mean, press conferences in general don't move the needle for me, unless like something crazy happens, like Mike Tyson bites Lennox Lewis on the foot. But like even like when they had the one for Mario and Tank, like Mario's my guy, and if he doesn't win this fight, at least he can be a replacement in the Ramones. Who dresses him? He looks like he's from a punk band in the 80s. That's cool, though. Do you like the Ramones, Matt?
Of course, man. I love punk.
All right, cool. The Ramones are better than the Beatles. Don't hate because it's true.
No, it's not true.
The Beatles are so overrated. They're not that good.
I'll be honest. Like, the Beatles are not my go-to 60s rock band, and the Ramones are not my go-to like punk band. So like it's
Ramones
people I really don't care about.
And when you said go-to rock band of the 60s, pop band of the 60s, it would be your go-to pop band. The Beatles were pop music. The Rolling Stones is rock.
You know what rock pop is, right?
Do the Beatles rock? Do you ever listen to a Beatles album and say that album rocks?
You don't think like "Come Together" is like a good like rock song?
All right, like it's rock in the same way that like U2 is a rock band.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're more of like folk style rock
than
like hard rock or anything like that. Like again, they're not my go-to 60s band, Gary. It's okay. It's okay.
It's like the rock they had in the 90s, like Pearl Jam, like that grunge scene. Like it's rock, but like whoever rocked out to Pearl Jam's Better Man, right?
No one.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I like rock music that rocks, like AC/DC or Zeppelin.
But not all grunge is like that. Like 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, I like 9 Inch Nails. They were good. You're right. That's the leader of the grunge scene.
Like Nirvana compared to like the Beatles.
I
know you don't like Nirvana, but compared to like rock, Nirvana's rock compared to the Beatles. Right?
Right, sure, yeah.
There's more guitar riffs. Like that's how I rate it. Gary, anyways, we're gonna head out of here. If you guys want to see us talk more, check out our debate show on our other channel that we did Monday
or Tuesday, something like that.
Monday or Tuesday. One of those days, me and Gary debated politics and communism. And I was it was rather enjoyable. I did. I cannot wait for us to do it again because we got through
one sentence
out of 4 things that we read.
Yeah.
So Gotta do another episode of that series, I guess. Anyways, find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all social media platforms, patreon.com/Trending Now Network. If you want to support the channel in any financial way, Trend Now Network on Twitch and our other YouTube channel as well. If you want to catch any of our other content, have a great day, great evening, great night. And remember, at all times, fuck the police and free Palestine. Peace.